Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome to today's message. And I have not been here for a little while. I haven't been here for a minute, that's for sure. And I've been having some time off during Christmas. I've been, well, not really time off, but time off from these sort of creative posts, actually. I've been doing a lot in the Limitless Potential Academy because I've expanded it. So any of you guys who aren't aware of what's going on there, every single week we are meeting with something totally different going on to dedicate towards actualizing our limitless potentials. So what I wanted to do today was actually just check in with you guys with something that has been on top of my growth journey for the past little while, but in particular over the last couple of months. And I really want to come into this with a way of potentially expanding your perspective to see where you may be, unbeknownst to yourself, actually limiting your potential. So I want today's message to actually rip the lid off, rip the roof off, and hopefully give you a ton of value today with just reflecting on where you currently are on your journey of fulfillment, of creating real meaning and significance in your life, excitement in your life, and definitely just true fulfillment, growing, reaching your potential, making sure that you are living to the absolute highest possibilities available to you and not limiting yourself. So basically, that's what the Limitless Potential Academy is all about. So today's message, and I'd love for you guys as you're tuning in, please do say hi. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, all that great stuff. I love getting to connect with you guys and seeing where you're at. And I'd love for you to share your perspectives, your insights, your experiences, or anything that you feel called to share in today's conversation. And I can't wait to see who's able to join me. So it'll be fun. So let's get into it. So today's message is stop worrying about being too woo-woo, right? So that you can experience meaningful fulfillment in your lives. And basically what today's message is all about is really the difference that makes the difference when it comes to reaching your limitless potential and removing the limitations that you've placed upon it. Okay, so let me break it down with what we're talking about a little bit today. So what is woo-woo? For anybody who doesn't know what woo-woo is, basically woo-woo is it's a bit airy-fairy, we can't prove it, it's kind of behind the curtains thinking, we're not sure if it's real, like it kind of seems a bit airy-fairy and just crazy, right? Or a bit like, I don't know how to describe it other than woo-woo because it's just the best term for it. But why I want to talk about this with you guys today is some of the new steps that I've taken from a place of real inspiration, right? Coming from the inside out, really clarifying what is it that I'm inspired by? Like, what do I want to learn? How do I want to connect with others? Like, what's my absolute ideal in this realm? And basically, I got really clear on that. And I shared it with some amazing human beings that I get to connect with fairly regularly in my academy, and people who I know would be just a really great fit for this, right? And basically people came on board putting their trust in me for something that I had, it was very intriguing for me, but very woo-woo. And I realized I had kind of placed a big judgment upon it that limited me from sharing it as much with others because I didn't want to lose people's, trust or ability to serve, right? So it was my own limiting kind of belief on that. And what has happened is the more and more I've developed and grown within myself, the more kind of woo-woo it kind of gets, right? Because the more, from my perspective, what happens is as we develop and grow ourselves, we move up the levels of consciousness, and the levels of consciousness get higher and higher above, not better than, just a different vantage point than the physical, proven here and now, what we take in with our five senses, basically. And the more we're able to look behind the curtain, examine what could be the potentials behind the curtain, examine like the possibilities of connection to something else, the question of what if, the question of who am I, right? The question of connection to something bigger than just our physical bodies and self, right? Again, not better than, but inclusive of and transcending, basically. And some of the ways that I have been going down the woo-woo path have been actually with connecting and opening my mind up to something that could be possible, but it's not proven, right? Which it has been a pathway. One of the pathways has been in alignment with looking at the universe, right? And looking at how the different planets impact energetically on Earth, right? And here I go down the woo-woo path, right? That a lot of people want to throw out, but the message that I have for you guys, and this is what I've been practicing for a few months now, has been working with the lunar cycles, which is basically the different phases of the moon, and energetically looking at how the moon impacts things on Earth, right? We all know, and it's scientifically proven, that the moon impacts the tides, right? Due to the gravitational pull, when the moon comes closer to the aspect of Earth, the gravitational pull pulls the water basically, closer to in the direction of the moon, right? And as the moon cycles around the Earth, basically that's what's happening with our tides, okay? So we can look at that on a scientific level, and then I've kind of gone down the path of taking it even further than that, like to think about the fact that, okay, if it's scientifically proven that the moon gravitational pull impacts the tides here on Earth, why do we as human beings think that we are separate from that process? If potentially, our bodies are made up of 80% water, could there not be some sort of tie energetically to the phases of the moon and on us as individuals? Who knows, right? That's where the term loony came from, right? Like when people were loony because of the full moon, basically, right? When the full moon appears larger in the sky because the sun is on it, basically. Like it's at the opposite side and getting the full light from the sun, basically. Okay, so anyway, I went down a path of attending some workshops around working with the lunar cycles, and in particular the full moon and the new moon, right? And so basically what I did from there was the full moon, working with the full moon in terms of release work, letting go, where all our emotions are coming and heightened to the surface at that time. And, basically utilizing the energy that is available to us at that point in the lunar cycle at the full moon to go, all right, what is it that's limiting me? What are the limiting patterns I might have? What are the resentments? What are the, fights or conflicts that I'm having with others that I could release and forgive right now to clear the pathway to make myself a better channel for manifestation, for whatever's going on in my life. And whether you believe in the woo-woo-ness of it, right, or you just took a time once a month to clear any resentments, to clear any limitations, to actually draw out to the surface any things that you've been holding in the subconscious, like limiting beliefs and patterns that are holding you back from attaining and moving in the direction of your potential, you don't need to believe in the woo-woo-ness of it to get it. And on the flip side of that, with the new moon is a time where basically you don't see the moon in the sky because the moon is basically blocking the sun. They're at the exact same spot in the cosmos, right? To be able to set new intentions as a new beginning, right? To get clear, like the world is your oyster, right? Like what is it that I want to create in my life? To become a conscious creator and a deliberate manifester in your life, right? So you can look at it and go down the path of finding deeper meanings and the woo-woo-ness of what's actually occurring energetically at those pivotal times during the lunar cycles. Or you can just use those pivotal times to set great intentions once a month in the areas of your life and clear away resentments and limitations once a month. Imagine how much better your life would be if you just did that, right? And you had dedicated time every single month. And what I want to talk about today in this realm is, in terms of the topic for today, which is to stop, worrying about being too woo-woo, is because the more meaning you can find in your life, the more deeper meanings, the more hidden truths, the more things that you might not be able to prove, but you can find some sort of meaning or significance in, basically the more able you are to lift the lid off your potential and to basically access a new height of your limitless potential, right? And so that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Like, think about it in your life right now. How much of life do you need to have proven to you in order for you to put any kind of, potential possibility of its value, right? To find any of its possibility of value. Because what I have found in my own life, and as I study others in this world and, be that human guinea pig of all things personal development and learn from great minds and see what works for people and see what doesn't seem to be working for people, the more I see a correlation with the ability to be okay with not knowing, right? Our comfortability with uncertainty, our ability to question reality and look for, possibility thinking. I see more and more a correlation with those of us who are able to do that and find hidden meanings with actual fulfillment that they're experiencing right here in their lives now, right? The more meaning that we can discover, the more fulfillment we tend to access now, right? And the same is true on the other side. The more people need to have things proven before they can even entertain the possibility of things, the more those people tend to be nihilistic, right? The more they tend to not have much meaning, and it's just how it is how it is. And there's a limitation on potential. And, you can see if this is true in your own life, right? And I'd love to hear from you guys. If you, have thought about this concept of, maybe that's a bit woo-woo, right? Maybe that's a bit weird, or it's a bit out there. And, and you've limited yourself in terms of how you can discover new meanings with an open mind, and then just kind of test out what feels right and what doesn't for you. That is the pathway to taking the limits off your potential, right? And when you go down the other path of, you have to have it all proven for you to even entertain the idea, you will end up going down the path of lacking meaning. So whatever that is for you, I'm a big believer in let people believe whatever they're going to believe, so long as it's working for them, right? As long as it's creating meaning, fulfillment, and it's not hurting anybody else, right? And I think that there's much to be learned from people who are experiencing fulfillment in the present moment. And sometimes when you investigate their belief systems, a lot of them tend to be operating in a bit of the woo-woo realm. Like you can't prove it, but it feels right? Something feels like it becomes bigger than themselves, but they're a part of it, right? So, and I'm not talking about necessarily religion, although that is a massive realm for people to find fulfillment. But, for me personally, I haven't grown up religious, but I do believe in having a spiritual connection. And in order to have a spiritual connection, spirituality looks like it's in the opposite direction of the physical realm, but it's totally integrated when we go down that path. But we have to be able to get beyond the physical realm and explore the possibilities of what's behind the curtain in order to access a more deeper spiritual connection, so that that can be integrated into the physical realm and our way of being. And that's how we basically experience true fulfillment in our day-to-day lives. So that's just one way that I've been exploring more of the woo-woo realm and taking some people on that journey, and it's really exciting. And so yeah, I just wanted to throw that concept out there for you guys to see who might be basically needing to stop worrying about the woo-woo-ness. So definitely want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me. So please do drop me a comment. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. And if there's anybody in your life that you feel could benefit from this message, please do share it with them. All right, so I've got Francisco and Suzanne and Tapasvi. I always butcher your name, but I love it. And Loki's here. Woo! I love that you're in it for the woo. And Simon's here as well. Awesome. And Dennis. Hi, beautiful as always. We'll check out the site. Thanks for sharing, Dan from Chicago. Awesome to see you, Dan. Yeah, and awesome. And if any of you guys are looking for an environment that you would like to spend 2 hours a week where you dedicate your time to your own personal development and you want to come into these workshops, basically what I am running at the moment is an integrated approach, a holistic approach to your personal development that has both the masculine elements of learning and intellectualizing and gaining new tools and implementing them and taking action in your life, and also masterminding, holding yourself and others accountable to reaching their potential. And it also offers the feminine approach where we're doing moon workshops for the full moon release and surrender work, and also new moon setting intentions workshops as well. And so basically it alternates every single week. We have a 2-hour block, and we're doing, like yesterday, we just had our mastermind group meet, and we've got a new moon intention setting coming up on the 3rd of July or the 2nd of July if you're in the States or most other parts of the world. We come together, workshop it out, collectively setting intentions. I take you through these beautiful feminine approach to your personal development, which is valuable for men and women because we all have a feminine aspect to ourselves, and mostly the masculine element is kind of overdone a lot of times. So it's about having a balanced approach where we do both, right? The masculine elements, the feminine elements, and we alternate between them each week. So for a month, you're doing something different each week. And then we start the cycle again and take it to the next level. So if any of you guys are interested in that, you can definitely check out my website at limitlesspotentialacademy.com or vanessajanepatrick.com. Or if you feel like you want to have a chat about it and see if it will be a good fit for you, then you can definitely send me a message. Best idea is Vanessa at vanessajanepatrick.com, and I'll see if I can arrange getting on a call with you and just see if it's a good fit. All right, so awesome, Dan. Always good to see you. And Peggy's here, and Raymond and Graham, awesome. And Simon, woo-woo equals the universe's way of tapping you on the shoulder and saying, would you mind having a look at this? I love that. That's so well put, my friend. Absolutely. And that's the way I'm going about it in these groups, which is you don't have to believe anything necessarily, but the idea is giving yourself access to opportunities to expand your mind and test and build the muscle of your own integrity with self, right? To be able to open your mind to new possibilities and some woo-woo-ness, and then see if it resonates or doesn't resonate with your internal compass, right? It's an opportunity to build that muscle, which is most important, and only you can know for yourself, right? So love that, Simon. And Carolina is here, and Ione, I don't know how to say your name, but I love having you here. Good to have you back. And Loki, the way you use the word woo-woo feels derogatory and it's hurtful to me. Oh, I understand why you feel the need to apologize for or justify the value. We are both experienced firsthand in the ethereal it seems you are trying to attract people that don't appreciate but value of these ways of thinking. But as one of your followers, it feels like a bit of a betrayal. Loki, I appreciate you sharing that, my friend, because I love having these conversations, and I would hate for you to have that perspective and not bring it to my attention so that it can be clarified. What I will say is thank you for sharing that with me so that I can clarify my true perspective on this, because I by no means am talking derogatory about the concept of woo-woo. What I like to do in this realm of sharing these messages is basically talk to my past self, who was judgmental of these sort of things, right? And to bridge the gap between where my past self may have been, which could connect with the humanness and the experience of others, and to show them the bridge of where to go and why. So, and if that resonates with them or not. So, of course, I hope you know, and I know you're a part of the Limitless Potential Academy, so I'm sure you get this, that woo-woo is not something that I would ever tear down or try to apologize for or justify for others. That's why I'm sharing about it, right? So I appreciate that, and I'm sorry that that's felt like a bit of a betrayal to you, but I hope, yeah, I really do hope you know that I love all things woo-woo, and it's more about my consideration of where others may be at and my desire to share with them, a bridge, basically, because that's having compassion for my past self who was judgmental of these things based on how I'd been, how I'd grown up and who I was surrounded by. And I think it's important to be able to relate to who you once were, and also be able to relate to others and not judge them for maybe, being judgmental of woo-woo, because I could find myself in that path as well. So I appreciate you so much, my friend. And I'm looking forward to seeing you for the new moon intention setting coming up next week. And thank you for bringing that to my attention. And for everyone, please, I love having conversations, right? To clear where we might be misunderstanding one another. And if there are things that trigger each other, I love having those conversations because, I very much believe that the quality of our communication is the response that we get. And if we can't communicate to one another where we aren't, we're basically getting triggered, or we are feeling like, in this case, Loki mentioned feeling betrayed, right? Like, if we can't bring that to the surface to be cleared, I can't know, for instance, in this circumstance, whether the quality of my communication is getting the result that I'd like, because the last thing I'd want is for people to feel like I'm degrading woo-woo-ness. I'm just merely talking into a perspective of that I once held, and that I'm, basically sharing a lot of woo-woo stuff in my private communities now. I want to know so that that's not the result, because that's not what I'm after. So appreciate that. And also Melissa's here, and Brian and Sam. Sorry, missed your live, coach. I'll catch up. Good to have you here, my friend. And yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on here. So I'm very, very grateful to each and every one of you guys who are able to join me today. And I hope that this message does just hit you, if it's a message that you may need to hear, if you have been judging being woo-woo or going down the path of exploring. Just, stop worrying about it and realize, like the way that I realize not to judge it is the connection point between discovering and magnifying more and more meaning in your life actually enhances your ability to access higher heights of your potential, because you're taking the ceiling of judgment off. Okay, so I really hope that resonates with you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you again so much for joining me live. I hope you had an awesome Christmas. I hope you're going to have an amazing New Year's, and I'll be seeing you very, very soon. Much love, guys.